Okay, here we are. It's Bill Lobley, for those of you who didn't know, and this is my live stream. Just wanted to get on. I mean, I'd gotten some orders for prints, which I'll go through in a second, and show you some of the really cool prints that we have, for me to sign for you to see. But you can't always go to a convention, trying to do more and more of those. So if those come up and you hear about them, why not request me? It makes me really happy. So I am just trying to get something going with the convention world, and I'm starting to work with a company called Mobile Moniker Productions. They're really great, which are going to get me out. But sometimes you get these prints that you want to sign, and I'm going to show you some of these. But you can't do it at a convention if you're not at a convention. So what we do on Instagram is to just do the live signing. So there's actually some prints that I got requested to sign. So I have those. And I figured, what the heck. Now, I also wanted to say, in my quest for authenticity, what I'd normally be doing about this hour would be having a cocktail. So I figured, why change the pattern? So cheers to everybody, anybody who's joining. This is my thing. Oh, hi, Strawberry Bat. I know who you are. I'm going to be using people's, their handles, their Twitter handles, just so I don't mess up names. And yeah, listen, if you're going to wave and send hearts, it makes me feel loved. It's like, it's my fuel. You know how you would, for those of you who know the old Disney movies, those who, people are waving good, you keep Tinkerbell alive by saying you believe or clapping your hands or whatever it is. So what keeps me alive are the little waves and the hearts and everything like that. Hi, Sarah. Well, cheers to everybody. So, as Sarah's saying, here we go. So yeah. So how it works on Streamily is, if you were in the shop to see the print, you can order them, and any of the number of characters that I've been blessed to do, we have prints of them, and then I can sign them. So thank you. Cloud Ghoul says, I love your voice acting. Thank you, Cloud Ghoul. I like it too. I have a lot of fun. Here is, I'm just going to go with some of the prints that are available on Streamily, but just because I feel like talking about them, because I'm so excited about them, because the guy that does my prints for me he's a really good guy, and he does great quality. So I'm going to start with this one. That's me. That's just my, it's lately my 8x10. A lot of guitars in there. I don't know if you can see in the picture, but yeah, because I play a little music, and that's all that people can stand, basically, just a little of my music. This is one of the guys from Grand Theft Auto, one of the Republican Space Rangers. Kind of talks like this. I can't even say in mixed company, and I'm assuming there might be kids on this, I can't say some of the foul things that the commander says, but a very fun character from the people at Rockstar Games, really one of my favorites. Here's a kid one, Geronimo Stilton, in the audiobook series that I did. Really great. Got to do all of the voices in that series. So it's like a kid's audiobook, but you can go really far out with the character voices on that. Ginger is Cloud Ghoul. Thank you, Strawberry Bat. Or Alondra. Yeah, so this is, he's a mouse who runs a newspaper, and he has all kinds of crazy characters that are in his world. And it's a kid's story, and it's an audiobook, and so if you got little kids and you want a really fun audiobook, or just the stories themselves, great. Geronimo Stilton. Who's this? Oh, another newspaper reporter. Bioshock fans recognize this guy. This is Stanley Poole from Bioshock 2. And he was, kind of a 40s newspaper guy, always out for himself. So there he is, Stanley Poole. That's in the shop too. Really fun one. Who do I have next? Oh, of course, Huck. I have a whole series of Huck things. This is Arcane. People love this character, who's only in a couple of episodes. We might have recorded 3 in the first season, but he made quite an impression on a lot of people. I can't say if he's back for the second season. Not allowed to talk about anything that's going on in the second season, except that there is a second season of Arcane, so take heart. So this is Huck before his horrible transformation from Shimmer, and he's been really popular. This is him after the Shimmer transformation. Sorry if that's a spoiler for anybody who didn't see the first season of Arcane, but things don't go well for Huck. but that's just a great, great character. Really, this pulls your heart out. I read it when I got the script. I read it and I was like, oh my God, this is so sad. So, well, here's to Huck. Yeah, so he's been one of my favorites. What am I drinking? Someone asked. Well, this is tequila. And it's either a very old Don Julio or a very new Cuervo. So it remains to be seen what how the effects are different. This is a really cool story. I got this from someone commissioned this. This is basically fan art. And when I first did the show, Arcane, this is one of the people who drew this for me. And it is Huck with Shimmer in, if you know Arcane, the show, in the lanes, which is not a good place to be. And that vial of liquid is Shimmer, and that's what Huck has to deal with. So this is him. Maybe you can't see it, maybe you can, but he's really grappling with it, and it's such a cool part of the story. What else do I got? Oh, of course, Jeremiah Fink, Bioshock Infinite. My boy! One of the most evil characters I ever did. The guy who starts out as probably one of the friendliest guys, real glad-handling kind of politician, and then you discover that he's awful. He's a racist, and he's a money grubber. So, really cool character to play. Sarah Olson says, Huck is the GOAT. Yeah. Love him. And then, the Sealab fans from many years ago remember Sparks. They're still on. This show is still on. It must be 20 years. But people love Sealab, and it really is, we would say when we do that show, funny on the page. So that's Sparks, and he was always really sarcastic, Hey, Skip, let's eat babies. That's for the Sealab fans. In this one, he had gotten Stimutax, which is the pills that they found that could help him take over the world. And, yes, Sparks is funny. He's got this guy with him, who he just calls a pillhead. I'm sure this guy could take Sparks apart, but if you know Sparks, he could talk his way out of it. Have some more pills, pillhead! And then have hot monkey love. Only he doesn't say it quite that way. So those are the guys I'm doing and who I'm signing today. It's probably there's Lobley Bob. Anybody want to guess who that is? That's my brother. He's about a foot taller than I am. But he builds his own cars, so he's the greatest. Those are the prints. Hats off to Streamily for making all this possible. The thing about Streamily, before I get to the signing, and I will sign some, the thing about Streamily is that really kind of took off during the pandemic because someone had asked, I missed it, but, how was it for me during the pandemic? That's a whole different story. But Streamily was born of people wanting to be in touch with voice actors and celebrities, and basically said that, we can, my brother says he's better looking too. Well, yeah, in the dark. But, wait, someone says, when I played the Burial at Sea download content for Bioshock Infinite, why did Fink have photo of the Lutze twins in his fireplace? That's a really good question. That might be a question, for some of the designers. The thing about Bioshock Infinite is, they might have been at that point planning some kind of sequel. So I'm not quite sure why, but I went up to one of the premieres up there in Boston when Bioshock launched, and I got a sense of just how big it was because I must have met, there were 400 people there. These are only the people who worked on the game, and I went up because they said, would you like to go? And and they held it in some kind of like castle, this Marriott in Boston. That's like, it looked like a castle from the turn of the century or a turn of one of the centuries. And everybody was there who worked on the show. And I must have met 15 people, for me alone, who said, I worked in your world. I worked on your character. So it was amazing. And like, here I am. It's like, well, I do the voice. I guess I'm responsible. It's like, no. So, Sam says, because Fink was in contact with the Lutze twins in order to produce his music and vigors. Okay. So There you go. That's a fan who answered. Dawn just joined. Hi, Dawn. Really, really nice to see you out here. Another wave. So anyway, really great experience. And it was, thank you. This is a brand new, someone likes the shirt. It's brand new. Someone told me once a long time ago, you've got to wear blue all the time. You've got to wear blue all the time. It really highlights your eyes. Yes. Oh, here's a fun fact. We got a Bioshock fan, Sam. He also used the particles/tears to communicate with Dr. Suchong in Rapture and share work with each other. All right. So obviously, Fink, you remember him? He's got a lot of stuff going on. He always had something going on. It was a strange thing. So up there in Colombia, in one of the coolest worlds ever created in a video game, city in the sky, and Fink just wanted everything for his own. He was awful. Oh, I wanted to show you. I'm actually broadcasting from a studio that I set up. I'm actually on I don't know if you can see that, but that is like a little, this is not my home. My home studio is really cool, but I'm down here in North Carolina right now, heading back really soon. But when I have to record, I have to set up a studio. And I used to be like, well, I'll find a studio. And then I realized that with the equipment that you start to have because of things like the pandemic, your home quality gets better and better. And someone had asked earlier advice for new voice actors, and I'll get to that. But one of the things was, it's gotten so much easier with your so much easier with the equipment that's out there right now. So yeah. Oh wait, here's a question. Me and Ginger are big Brocken fans. How did you get the part of Brocken? Okay, that was really cool. All right, here's how that happened. NYAV Post is a studio in New York AV Post. They also have an office in Los Angeles. And the guy's name is Michael Sinterniklaas. Maybe, video anime fans would know who he is because he's done voices, but mostly directs. And we'd worked together on Just Cause 3. I do not have it, by the way, I was Sheldon in Just Cause 3. And that was not just the voice of this gigantic cowboy, but it was also the motion capture for it. So we did the motion capture for Just Cause 3 at this gigantic Steiner Studios in Brooklyn, for anybody who knows or cares. But I mean, an enormous soundstage with, more cameras than a Walmart. I mean, there must have been 30. It was like an NFL game. There was cameras. There must have been 30-foot ceilings. There was cameras all around the perimeter of the ceilings. There was cameras on the floor. There was guys walking with cameras. There were guys that were pointing at you, and you were coming up on the screen, but they weren't pointing at you, yet you were there. The best thing about it for me was doing this thing in motion capture with all you've seen the leotards with the styrofoam dots, the light sensitive dots all over everything, is a camera on your face. So picture a headset, right? Like a bike helmet, but attached to it is, you have like this giant beak, and it's a camera that is just following your face because it's attached to your head. So they're getting real detail on your face, acting out the character. And I am getting to the answer, strawberry bat. But yeah, so we're doing that. So you've got this suit on, and here I am like in a skin tight suit. And look, I try and keep in shape, but sometimes these black leotards are not forgiving. So there I am, and I got my suit on and this big, duck beak on my head with the camera in my face, capturing everything. And I think I must look like a total idiot, 5'11" and 5'11" and a half and 160 pounds. And I'm like, I'm a little skinny geek. And then I look on the screen when I see the render is done. Like, you get to see, if you look to where the directors are directing, what you look like, what you're going to look like in the game. And I look where I'm standing with my hands on my hips, and there's this enormous strapping cowboy with a cowboy hat. Sheldon talks something like this: anytime, anywhere you need me. So it's really, really fun to do. So, we had rehearsals and we had to act. And I really got to know this guy, Michael Sinterniklaas, who is also a writer, but primarily directing voice and the motion capture, which is, you're doing a movie. You are essentially doing a movie, but you're in these crazy suits, and the costume department is electronic. So we had 3 or 4 days of shooting there, and we finished up, and he was like, "Bill, really, really fun working with you." And he said, anime has a different, it's kind of a different level of gaming and voiceover stuff. A lot of times it's dubbing. So, the Japanese animation, it's recorded in Japan. So, so what they need to do is have English dubbing. So at this point, and I forget what year it was, that was probably, I don't know, I want to say 2015, 16. He said, "Would you do anime?" And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" They do a lot of it in Dallas at a place called Fun Animation, FUNAMATION, Fun Animation. And they do a lot down there. Not that much, at least at that point in New York. And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" So we went in and we read for a couple of things. And there was something at Mazinger Z Infinity, which was this new one that was coming out. And he was like, "What about like an evil doctor, Count, who can take his head off?" It's like, what would he sound like? And I'm like, well, he sounds pretty evil. He sounds pretty evil and weird, and eccentric. So suddenly it just became the kind of thing where it was like evil and weird and eccentric. So we kind of got to that place. He was like, yeah, like that. So it was like, my dear, he was so evil. But, just from the looks of him, and I have a print, which I'm going to sign for Strawberry Bat in a bit. But this is him. And I'm doing this now. I'm preempting it. But here he is. You can see he can take his freaking head off. I love this print. This is really fun. And he takes his head off. And, he's like, obviously pseudo-military. He's probably not that disciplined. But anyway, it's just like, it was definitely the kind of thing where we started doing it, and once you start reading the lines, and sometimes the Japanese guys, they're really good. You can tell the intention is there, but it's like I don't know what the guy's saying. So you have to be like, okay, the line is this, and you're like, okay, well, how would Brocken say it? But this is the new Brocken, because it's for a whole different audience, and it is the dialects. In case you don't know Japanese. The tenses are weird. It's just the speed is different, but you can get it if you listen to enough of the whole like track of the Japanese track. It's like, okay, I think I know what's going on here, and then it's like, but it is American, so you have to get that. So that's why Michael is probably one of the best dubbing directors. He also worked on Ernest and Celestine. The first one, which was nominated for Academy Award, that was French, and he did that. I didn't work on that one, but so I knew he knows what he's doing. If he can handle French and Japanese, you're getting basically to the point where like you could do Spanish, you could do Latvian, but if he's good at what he does and feeling the intention of the animators and the people on, it's it's just a really cool thing. So yeah, so that's it, and that's how I got it, because work, often, with acting stuff, work begets work. You work with someone who likes you, and they want to use you. So and we worked on a couple things with him, and I did a Japanese film called Fireworks, where I think I played like 3 characters in that one. Like I played the guy who's making the fireworks, his angry dad, and then like one other ancillary dad. So it was 2 dads and a kid. But yeah, some of the storylines of the anime stuff is unbelievable, and Mazinger Z Infinity is one of them. You can probably get that online or buy the DVD or stream it or whatever, but it's on there. So that's my story. And thank you, Strawberry Bet. She said I did an amazing job with Brocken. Yeah, love playing him. Jack the Great. Oh, I just missed that. Couldn't see what he said there. Can I scroll down on that? What happened to Fink's son after Booker and Elizabeth left Finkton? That I don't know. I think everybody kind of wonders that, because I have to believe that think is so frickin' evil, he probably didn't give a crap. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, another son? Can I procreate and have another one? Get me a girl. So it's like, it's like not a good guy. So there we go. Oh, Heroes of Geek. They're what a great podcast they have. Look them up. And Heroes of Geek is in England, right? Is that what Heroes of Geek? Where are you? Tell me. There's like a lot of things coming up here. Heroes of Geek, I believe, is in England, and does some just amazing stuff with physically challenged people and they're wonderful people. They do a lot of the cons in England, my good friend Sasha is if she's on, great, love her, huge Arcane fan, and probably one of the better cosplayers for the characters that some of the Arcane characters, so they're really cool. So friends from England. So hats off to them, because it's 12:30 in the morning, and they're on. All right, so let's do some signing. Bear with me, because I'll be moving the camera to get to some of these, but I want to start with one. What do we got? Okay. Here's one. This, I believe, is to Nandria, and this is one of the Huck ones, Vile. And she wants me to sign this one, Be Somebody. This is really cool, because Huck has such an identity problem, and that's why he winds up taking this horrible drug, Shimmer, and that's what this is about. This is that period in his arc where he's doing that. So, Be Somebody. I love that. That is really, really cool. So I got my Sharpie. I'm going to turn this so you can see. Okay. You got to love technology. Okay. And maybe I can sign this so you can get a look at it while I sign it. So if you were at a con and you were standing above me watching me sign it, this is pretty much what see. I don't know if I'm backwards here, but I do get to sign it. And on this one, I like to sign up here. So this is to Nandria. This is a live signing happening right now. And all she wants is Be Somebody. So I'm doing that with my Sharpie. I'll sign. And I'll put a little Huck here. There it is. Hot off the presses. Thank you, Nandria. This is going to go out to you from Streamily, and they'll get it to you. That's why Streamily is so cool, because they will send you the. Let me put this back up. Okay. Hi. Really, really cool. Thank you for asking for that one. It's just a great moment, such a great moment for Huck. Like I said, very poignant. So happy to do that. But I love to Be Somebody, because, that's all he wanted, when he was going through that. And would, resorted to a really horrible drug to get there. For you non-Arcane fans, Shimmer, not good. If Silco approaches you with Shimmer, say no. Just say no. It looks like it's going to be great, but then you just wiped out, and these mutations you don't want it. It's worse than tequila. So all right, let's do another one. What do I have? Who is this to? Steve-O. Is he from Jackass? Okay, probably not. Anyway, this is Steve-O. Don't know. I didn't ask where Steve-O's from. This is Stanley Poole, who ran, I think, like the Rapture Gazette. He was a reporter. He didn't run it. He was the reporter for the Rapture Gazette, and a real opportunist. I think somebody contacted me once on a Cameo to talk about the Bioshock series, and I was talking about Jeremiah Fink, who we've talked about a lot on this stream, but. Stanley Poole is an opportunist in his own way. He just wants to get ahead. Fink wanted to get ahead to, own everything. Stanley Poole just wanted a little piece of the pie. So he would just track people down and try and get a story for the newspaper. And there he is. You can see the background. Don't look good. But there he is. So he's a reporter. And Steve-O, this is great. So his quote is that he wants is, "Easy, little sister." Now, I don't know if he said that, because sometimes people say, like, what are some of your favorite Stanley Poole lines? I'm like, how many it's not just one linear thing. You do a video game, it can branch off in 5 different directions, so you're covering all of the lines. It's not just one movie. It's like you watch Top Gun Maverick, and, like, Maverick says this, and Jennifer Connelly says this, and Tom Skerritt says this, and, and that's it. And, so Val Kilmer doesn't say anything. But with a video game, you go in so many different directions. But, the little sisters are these little creatures that kind of chase after the big daddies, and they have their own drug. This drug thing kind of comes up a lot in video games because it's evil. And we do need evil for it to be good. So Steve-O wants me to write "Easy, little sister," I think that Stanley Poole, one of the things that he would say would be like, "Easy, kid." He was just out to get the story or make one up. So here we go. Oh, I got to do the camera thing. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. Back down. I'm going to get a switcher so I can. Hi. I want to get a switcher so I can just go from camera to camera, but I'd have to invest in the camera. All right, so let's do this to Steve-O. Got to get this right. Stevo. Steve-O. Easy, little sister. Great. And I'll sign it and say Stanley Poole. All right, cool. So I like to use the silver because even though it's on a silver background, you can see it if you try. I can't do it in this light, but there it is, Steve-O. Streamily will get that out to you. The way it works is, after I'm done with it, I put it in a little package. I send it to Streamily, and they have everybody's address, and they can send it along. And then you get it, and then you can frame it or hang it up. I know that my friend Sasha in England has gotten some prints, and she has a whole wall. It's like a whole shrine. It's like the Arcane shrine. And she has some really cool prints. Great. So anyway, good, really good. A question. What is your accent? What? I guess it's like, okay, so as an actor, I try not to have an accent. You try to do the accent, but if I'm just talking normally, and if I've had tequila, I'm getting hearts. Thank you. That means a lot to me. More hearts. Who is sending those? I don't know. Maybe it's Sarah. You're not supposed to have an accent. You're like, any newscaster would tell you. I have a niece who's getting into journalism, and you're not supposed to have any discernible accent. But if I was like where I'm from, which is Lower Westchester, New York, and it's Westchester's a county just above the next county up from New York City proper. But different areas of Westchester, you can get higher up, and everyone is very kind of highfalutin because you're getting closer to Connecticut. And then as you get further down to, like mid-central, northern west, that's where I'm from. You don't get a lot. But then you get further down. My parents were from a place called Mount Vernon, and they're talking a little bit more like this. Then you get into Yonkers. They don't go Yonkers, they go Yonkers. I'm in Yonkers. Then you're in the Bronx, and then all bets are off. Then you got Bronx, you got the Bronx. Then you got Brooklyn, and then you got Queens. And then you go out to Jersey. So all the regions are different. And they said that when Mel Blanc did, somebody asked, who was your favorite cartoon character as a kid? You got to say Bugs Bunny. And we would just do all the Bugs Bunny characters. But they said that when Mel Blanc's the guy who voiced Bugs Bunny and everybody else in the Warner Brothers cartoons. He combined Bronx and Brooklyn to get Bugs Bunny's, you know.
Yeah, what's up, Doc?
You know. So
I've created a carrot gusher.
So we would do. My brother probably knows that we did a lot of Bugs Bunny. We do Yosemite Sam. Blast your scuppers, you barnacle-bitten landlubber! I'll keelhole you for this. You know.
Yoo-hoo, Mr. Pirate!
So yeah, we love the Warner Brothers cartoons. But anyway, so yes, and the answer to I don't know whose question that was. It's gone now. Bugs Bunny was our favorite. The second part of his question, what is your favorite now? Someone asked me that at dinner. I was out to dinner with my son and some of his friends, and somebody asked me that. And my stock answer, which is 100% true, I'm not making it up, is my favorite character is always my current character. That's what I'm like really drawn to. And I'm not saying I don't like any of the other ones, but it's like, you know, what are the ones that really get to me? It's like, that's whatever I'm working on right now. I'm working on a couple right now, but I can't tell you. NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, are really huge in video games and animation because you can't talk about it. And when I was working on Just Cause 3, I was told, you don't tell anybody, and then you sign all this stuff. I'm not quite sure what would happen if you did reveal it, but if you did, would there like the video game FBI, you know what I mean, come and like arrest you? You know what I mean? Come on, you're coming with us. And then, you know, you go to they put you in a cell with really boring people. It's like, you're not going to have any fun, and don't go pulling any voices, you know? So, so I don't know what it's like if you violate a non-disclosure agreement, but my agent would be like, yeah, just don't do that. So I don't know. I'm not quite sure what happens if you violate it, but there's things, and it's kind of cool. And it seemed like it's been more strict now because of social media. But when I was doing Just Cause, they said, Bill, so, you know, you can't talk about anything that's happening in this game. And I said, definitely not. No posting. Don't talk about it. And because they know that I have two boys who are really two young men now, and they're handsome and talented, so I don't know where they get it from. But at this point, they were teenagers, and they said, so Bill, you know, you don't talk about this. And they looked at me like directly and said, you know, to make my eyes come up from the agreement and said, especially don't talk about it to teenage boys. I was like, holy crap. It's like, because obviously that's the weak link. So I couldn't talk about it. Of course, you know, they're not stupid. And from little things they would hear around the house at the dinner table, I can't talk about that, but, you know, I was doing a Texas accent. Pretty soon they were like, we got a video game magazine that came into the house, and they didn't say anything. I don't know if any of them remember this if they're watching, but they just threw the magazine cover with the Just Cause 3 on it in front of me as I was sitting there. I was like right in front of the coffee table. And I'm like, oh my God, they figured it out. So I still couldn't say it, but that was the NDA. So anyway, yeah, you can't talk about that stuff. I have no idea why I just started talking about NDAs. Oh, my favorite characters. So yeah, I've got a couple that I'm working on now that are really, really fun, and but I can't. And one of the reasons is because of the strike, which, you know, I don't want to dwell on that, but it's not good. And we're just the actors are going for a better deal because, believe it or not, some of these guys want to take a voice and reproduce it with AI. So you're going to lose the human element in a scene, and just keep using it without paying. So I hope I'm not wheedling that down too much, but that's something that we're fighting for. And a fair cut of what happens. You know, when a game makes millions of dollars. When Bioshock Infinite came out, my agent called and said, do you have any idea how much this is making? And I was like, I saw that, and it was like 60 million in one weekend, and this was, you know, that's a lot right now. So this is 2000, I don't know, 12 or 13, and or longer ago, or more recent, I don't know what it was, but 15, but that kind of money. And but you know, you get a flat rate as an actor. It's like, how is that working? You made $60 million, and you know, I was able to take my family to dinner. So yeah, so it's a lot to fight for, and I'm out on the picket lines as much as I can be. If you know an actor or a writer who's in the guilds, support them. buy him a Coke. It's like just like, but yeah, we're out there fighting the good fight, and I really hope that people will talk. And you got to come to the table with something. And I think that if people are willing to negotiate, we're there. All right, let's sign something else. What do I got? Okay. I got Jeremiah Fink. This is for someone who is Fink. Oh wait, is this the right one? No, it might not be the right one. I'm sorry about that. I should have the real Huck. That's what's up next. Let's see if I got that. Here we go. Here it is. This is for Angelica Bailey, who's been so patient. She must have asked for this one in May, and because of travel and stuff, I had to postpone doing this. This is Huck. Remember the old Huck that I showed you, where he was all kind of decrepit and affected by the drug? This is before, when he's just trying to get along, and he's in this bar in Arcane called The Last Drop, and he's, he gets cheated, and it's a bad way. And then Vander comes and saves him. Vander's this big strapping hero in the series, and so Angelica Bailey wants it to Angelica Bailey. So I got to do this. So there's that, and here's Huck, and I'm going to say Angelica Bailey. So as opposed to all the other wonderful Angelicas, I think she's the most wonderful. Angelica Bailey, and I'm going to sign it. Huck. So there's that. I mean, sometimes with signing these things, you don't always have to. Here, let me just let me tip this up before I show it. Oh, I have my thumb in the way. I apologize. So I always like to put the character's name. It's just something you do. Some people don't do that, but I like to. In case you don't know who it is. But really, in terms of back to favorites, really one of my favorites. Huck has been so wonderful, and it's such a I think sometimes when you do these games, there is an arc of a character, and sometimes you don't get one. It's just like the guy's on, he's off, and he's like this, not a one-trick pony, but it's for the actors out there, it's going along one line, and you can count on. He's the evil guy. I did a character for The Darkness. Horrible. Probably one of the most horrible characters I ever had to do. His name was Bragg, and that's not just what he did, and that's the least of the evil things that he did was brag about himself. His language, it was awful. And then he would kill somebody because he was kind of a mob-related guy. But then he would taunt them while he's killing them. And after you're dead, you know what I'm going to do to your girlfriend? And it's and I'm being really clean. And so he was awful. So there's no arc there. That's just pure evil. And then, of course, you need that. Like I've always said, you need that in video games. So I'm reading, I'm like, oh my God, I got little kids at home. I go to church. It's I can't say this. It's no, he's a really bad guy. And of course, he meets a horrible demise. Sometimes when you do video games, there is a death sequence. And, it's either okay, he's going to get shot. And you go, and ooh, and he dies. Or he gets shot, but he's still alive. And then he has, his, final horrible, pathetic lines because everybody always begs for their, mercy when they're dying. So Bragg was really bad, but sometimes it'll be okay, so he gets shot and he's still alive, right? You're right, and you do that. And it's then, it's a video game. So then a flaming arrow comes and pierces his neck, and you have to go and then, his throat is affected, so then he can't breathe, and you're okay, and then he dies. It's no, wait. Then he gets pushed off a cliff. And it's it's there's bullets and arrows. And then it's oh. And then in one version, he lands in a vat of acid, and that's how he dies. I'm oh, is that what killed him? So, Yeah, sometimes video games, the deaths are, and they always save the deaths to the last, 20 minutes of the session so you don't scream, So anyway, Huck had none of that. So, but Bragg did. So there you go. All right. So that was our friend Huck. I am really enjoying this. I've been so stressed lately. Anybody here stressed? Give me some hearts. All right. So another signer. What do I got? Got another Huck. Right? Okay. Another Huck. This is that commission one. I apologize. The girl who did this, she was like in Denmark. And can I get this to you? And, wanted it sent, and I think I paid for the FedEx because I really wanted them. And then print them up. So they've been pretty popular. And it is really cool. If you see the series, this is really close to what, he looked like at that point. But she added it. In other words, this didn't exist in the show. There's no picture of him, longing for that vial of shimmer. But she kind of created it, which makes it like really true fan art, So let's do that. What does she want? Oh, I love this. Don't be afraid. Egalitarian. Because he just said, Huck's line was, they kind of asked him, he was helping, I guess Vi or somebody, find out where to find powder or whatever it was, or Jinx. And, Huck knew, but he needed shimmer. And, they basically said, why did you do this to yourself? And shimmer can make you very powerful at first. And Huck was just such a slight, unassuming guy who was constantly being cheated. And he just said, because I just wanted someone to be afraid of me for a change, and it just tears your heart out. And then this happens to him. So really sad. So anyway, Gail wants Huck to say, don't be afraid. You gotta love that. Okay, so let's do that. We're down to Huck. This is to Gail. And not Gay. This is just Gail. Don't be afraid. Yeah. Trying to keep my handwriting really neat. Lobley, Huck. Thank you, Gail. That's awesome. That's a great, again, a great quote that's not a quote. But, I think if you got Huck by himself, maybe he'd tell you that. So there you go. Gail, don't be afraid. Words to live by. So great. All right. So, great. So that's, we could do another question. We did, what is your accent? Here's one. How was the pandemic? Oh, we had a great time. It was awful. The good news of the pandemic was that any voice actor, would tell you that, one of the saving graces was the home studios, which I had. I put mine in 2015. So I've told many people that there were some days during the pandemic which were not different at all from the days pre-pandemic when you record at home because there was an inch of snow on the ground. Because I'm in the Northeast and in the New York area. And if it's like, do I have to drive into the city or can I record from home? So you'd spend the day at home recording, but then, in the pandemic, you did that every day. Some production didn't shut down, not like now with the strike, but so you would record from home. And I'm like, people say, how's your day? It's like, it was just like it was, in November of 2019, I was home recording in the studio. So having it during the pandemic made huge difference. So yeah. What do we got? Who do we got? This is the Fink. We got a Fink. This is to Leo. I had a very good friend in college named Leo. He's not with us anymore, so whenever I see that name, I get a little verklempt. Take a drink. His famous quote was, Don't let the swinging door hit you with a good Lord split you. If that was too blue, I apologize. All right, so this is to Leo. Another note. Fink has quotes that you think are, like, oh, what a great quote. That's a very helpful quote. But there's always something behind it. So what Leo wants me to write is, the early bird catches the worm, which is like a Jeremiah Fink thing. And, but, he just wants to get you to join the Fink Corporation so he can exploit you, It's like, so anyway, so yeah, let's do Jeremiah Fink. There he is. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can fit this here. That's a big quote. Let's just do Leo. The early bird catcheth. You got to spell that right. The worm. And then I'll sign it. And in little teeny letters, Jeremiah Fink. I don't know why they didn't name him like, Jack Fink. But they named him Jeremiah Fink. Great quote, Leo. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Super. Hey, listen, if you're looking at the stream and you see the number, the 9, it's not accurate. There could be 400 people on this thing. At least that's what I tell myself. I did one and everyone said, oh, it was so great. And the number kept coming up like 4. I'm like, 4? It's inaccurate, so I don't trust it. You can, but I do. All right, so here's Fink to Leo. So yeah, again, this will go out from Streamily. They'll get it to you at some point. I really appreciate you getting this one, and yeah, gotta love Fink. Again, it's like one of my favorites. Like that kind of, it's like Sophie's Choice. They're all my favorite. It's like, which one you want to load onto the train? It's like, I can't load any of them onto the train. You develop an affinity for these characters. Okay. So, yes. What do I have? Oh, somebody wanted one of me. I did one of these for a guy, and I was like, oh, you want me? So, yeah, this is great. Actually, a college, I did a magazine article interview, and they're like, where are your pictures? And the ones I had were very, not sterile, because they're like acting 8x10s. But I wanted something more relaxed, and we took a bunch in my house. And I do have a sick addiction, which is buying guitars. My family will tell you it's a sad thing. So this just happened to be the one that we got that looked good, that I liked. That's an acoustic guitar. For you guitar geeks, that's a left-handed Telecaster, and that is a left-handed custom Hofner Beatle bass that I had painted with the American flag. Because Paul McCartney had the Union Jack, and he's English. I'm like, I can't do a Paul McCartney Beatle bass because I'm left-handed like him, and I don't want to do, the one that looked like his or one that had the Union Jack on it. And I think, well, whoa, maybe I'll do one with the American flag on it. So that's this one in the background. So this one I like because it's me, but it also has a little bit of, things that I like in the background. And I love all 3 of those guitars. So, that's a bonus. So who is this one to? Margot with a T. Margot, if you're watching. She just asked for, I guess, equip something from me that I would send. So what I like to say to people who watch video games and stuff is, or play video games, is keep playing. It's good for everybody. You enjoy it. I get to work. I enjoy it, and it's popular. So, yeah, to Margot, this is going to be keep playing. So here's the signing. I hope this is coming out okay. But here we go. I purposely wore a dark shirt for this in case I had to sign. I could sign right on the shirt and you can see it. So this is to Margot. Margot. Keep. I don't like this pen. Luckily, I have a spare. Okay. Playing. Again, more words to live by. I feel like a sketch artist. I'm like, making it so it looks like a really good signature. Margot, Polo. All right, here. And there we go. That's to Margot. Thank you. That's me. It's just me. All the characters are there somewhere. There, you definitely. Okay, so very good. I have to be careful how I set them down over here because the ink is still wet. These Sharpies are ridiculous. Advice for a new actor that someone sent me. I don't know. I guess they mean a new voice actor. Someone had asked me that once, and I basically said, keep your ears open and your eyes open in terms of what you hear. Cartoon stuff right now is not cartoon stuff that it was with Bugs Bunny. Sometimes it is. Like SpongeBob is basically the new Bugs Bunny. It's like so it's like, me boy, hello money. I mean hello kids. So yeah, we watch a lot of SpongeBob when my kids were younger. So, but it's not always like that. So keep listening to what's going on now. And I don't mean, BoJack Horseman is like, it's like, oh, it's great. And you have an audition for BoJack Horseman or something like that. And you're doing all this stuff. And it's like, and then you hear the guy and he's like, hey, I'm BoJack Horseman. And it's just like a guy. It's like, what is this? So it's not like, Mel Blanc doing all this crazy stuff. So, I find that, fascinating. Advice to, younger voice actors or guys getting into it, keep listening. And get an agent. It's that simple. So, anyway, what else? Let's do another. Oh, finally. I have to confess, I've purposely been saving this one for Strawberry Bat. She is a huge, Mazinger Z Infinity fan and a huge Count Brocken fan, and she's developed her own character who would be like, Brocken's new love interest. So she did a cameo. In case you know what cameos are what we're doing right now, but personalized for you. So if you were like a huge fan of one of the shows and you wanted Jeremiah Fink to sing Happy Birthday to you, you'd go on Cameo and look me up or any celebrity. Not that I'm a celebrity, but anybody, and you can have a personalized video message. That's Cameo. So when you hear about that's what it is. So I've done a couple of those for Strawberry Bat, and so she wanted me to do a Count Brocken for her. So that's this. So there he is again. He's not a good guy. So what she wanted was to my darling Alondra. And Alondra is, here, I'll do it like this. To my darling Alondra. She wanted a message to Alondra from Count Brocken, because he loves her. So this is going to be to my darling Alondra from Count Brocken. So I'll do this. Here we go. Down here like that. Okay. To my darling Alondra. Count Brocken. And then I'll sign it. There we go. There you go. Oh, I'll put this up so you can see it. Okay. And there you go. There it is, on its way to you, my darling Alondra. Yeah, and that'll be via Streamily, and however they get it out, they'll get it out. But really, really great fan. We love those people. When you go to conventions, and listen, if you have a convention in your area, talk me up. It just helps me. It's like, I have no shame. I love doing, and what we're doing right now, this is great, but seeing people in person I go over the moon for it. So, that's great. All right, we got, I believe, is that it? I think that's it. I think we got everything. We got, all of the people. So that's it. That was my live signing. I mean, and we're almost done. Unless there's any other, comments or questions, this was just really, really fun. In terms of saying thank you to anybody, I guess Streamily, look them up. They have a new thing right now. If you go onto Streamily and you want to get something signed personally because you found this so fascinating, you can go on, and now they do it where you could get a live personalized video of me signing it, so you'll always have it. This kind of live stream stuff disappears, but you can do that. I don't forget to say hello to Steve. Hi, Steve. He's great. And yeah, so you can do that. Go to Cameo, find me there. You can find me on Instagram, obviously, at Bill Lobley, or Twitter at BILLLOBLAY. It's a lot of L's in a row, but you can find me there, and I'll post. Or just, keep an eye out for a couple of projects that are coming up that because of the strike, I can't talk about. But there's the Evergreen podcast, which I can talk about. That's a really cool science fiction thing that's on. And a couple of other things. But again, we're kind of prohibited either because of the strike or because of NDAs. But yeah, I'll do these every once in a while whenever they ask. Everybody has been really, really great, with the requests. And I really appreciate it. I don't get to talk to people that often. That's why I'm so bent on doing more cons. So maybe I'll see you in person. Thank you, everybody. We have a couple of minutes left. I'll just wait for one more second to see if there's more questions, and I'll have another squeeze of lime in my tequila, which is really good. By the way, my son had said, he goes, "Dad, let's just have a cocktail. People love that." I'm like, you know what? I love that. So once again, I'm in this symbiotic relationship with people who are watching me. So that's it. Yeah, we're coming up on the end of the hour. And I really appreciate everybody. If you pay for a print that we signed tonight, it'll be on its way as soon as I get back from where I am down here in North Carolina, which is gorgeous. Shout out to the Horning family because they're great and they let us stay here. So, but when I get back, these will be postmarked to Streamily, and then they'll be off to you, and you'll get them. But yeah, follow me, go to Cameo, go to Streamily, hit me up on Instagram. I will answer comments, DM me on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. I'll definitely respond because I'm so lonely. I mean, because I love, the fan base. So that's it. I will enjoy the rest of my tequila, and, I hope you all have a wonderful evening, wonderful rest of the summer. Be safe, use sunblock, hug your family. And we'll talk soon. Now I can just figure out how to end this. I don't know which button to push. Anyway, thanks very much, everybody. Cheers.